The perfect start is something that I think all of us have been trying to achieve on F1 games, and there's been lots of different games over the years, and most notably F1 2019 was notoriously hard to get a good start against the AI because they were so effective. But this year, of course, a brand new game, F1 2020, it has been out now for about over a month, and I've been working hard to try and get the right formula, and I feel like I've found the right balance to get more or less what would be the perfect start or the best possible start on F1. So in this video we're going to break it down, guys, in a bit of a tutorial format. But if you guys want to check out more content like this, I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner, guys, for my tips and tricks playlist, where you've got settings for the game, how I mod my helmets, for example. And if you guys also going to enjoy this video, then please drop me a like and also subscribe for more content like this, guys. I'm trying to hit 50k subs on the channel, so any support would be massively appreciated. And yeah, with that said, we've got some gameplay here of Mexico, and the best track to kind of give this tutorial, because Mexico has a massive pit straight, so we can really kind of judge the starts and see what works best. Now, let's talk about a few things going into this video. Now, when it comes to a race start, there's a few pointers. So on the car in itself, you've got the RPM, the revs per minute, and in game you can go all the way from 0 all the way up to 13,000, which is maxed out. Now within that, the game recommends a optimal range, and that optimal range is 10,500 to 12,700 RPM. So you've got 2,200 RPM to kind of work with. Now, having said that, even though that is the optimal, what I've found is even more effective and considered to be the perfect RPM range is anywhere between 11,000 to 11,800. And typically with my starts, I try to aim for 11,500. I find that's the sweet spot. In regards to the overtake button, of course, it's a brand new feature on this year's game, and you have the option of having it on or off at the start. A lot of people have it on, a lot of people have it off. I personally recommend having it off up until 3rd or 4th gear. It depends how good or bad your start is and how early you can get the throttle flat out and just absolutely floor it. So with these kind of pointers in mind, let's jump into a few examples and see what happens, more specifically bad examples. So what you're about to see is going to be some things you don't want to do when it comes to race starts. The first one is going to be high RPM. So you're maxed out 13,000 RPM, as you can see in the bottom right, and just to pause the frame, you can see there 13,000, that's the highest it goes. We are full on revs, the throttle pedal is absolutely pinned to the floor, and the lights go out, and you're trying to modulate the throttle, trying to get that good start. And to be fair, this wasn't too bad. It is possible to get a good start with max revs, but you've got to be really precise. Also worth noting, of course, tire temperatures as well. We had a lot of wheel spin in 1st and 2nd gear, so let's break it down now in slow motion. You can see in the bottom right, we're waiting for the lights to go out, which they do right about now. Look at the throttle, down to about just over halfway. We're still wheel spinning, and only when we get into 2nd gear and then eventually 3rd is when the wheel spin stops. At this point, we enable overtake in 5th gear, which is quite late, and you can see both the Racing Point and the Haas have actually stayed ahead and overtaken us. So we've dropped down to 10th place, and we're making our way down towards turn 1 as well. And it's worth noting the tyre temperatures. You can see the rear tyres, due to the wheel spin, 92 on the rears. They are 6 degrees hotter than the front tyres, which is not ideal, but this is not what you want to be doing. So let's move into example number 2 of what is considered to be a bad start. This time it's going to be low RPM. So let's say you're below the 10,000, more or less 10,500, in that kind of region. In this case, 9,500 revs. The good thing is you're going to get no wheel spin, and you run the risk though of hitting anti-stall. If you go too low, the car can stall on the grid and you're going to drop down to last place. So that is the risk you take. You can get away with it, as I did right there with 9,500 revs, and you can see the temperatures much more under control. Let's break it down once again in slow motion. So the lights are on, you can see the throttle, very little input, 9,500 revs more or less as we approach the lights, and the lights out and away we go. You can see a lot less throttle. We get up to 2nd and 3rd gear straight away, and 4th, and then we put the overtake on. So we managed to do it in 4th gear compared to last time in 5th, and we actually got a good start because we jumped Lance Stroll in the Racing Point and we moved up to 8th place. So it is possible to get a good start on low revs, of course, and it is doable as long as you don't hit anti-stall. That is the risk you take by running really low revs at the start of a race. And just to confirm the tire temperatures, once again, you can see this time in the bottom right, a lot better and all pretty much exactly the same and really balanced. So this is a much better example of what you can do, but still not considered to be perfect. Now another example, this time using the overtake button, is going to be the max RPM option plus overtake on for the race start. So you can see we push the overtake button straight away and we get a big bit of wheel spin and straight into the wall. Simple as that. That's what happens. It's literally impossible to go maxed on the revs and overtake on. You'd think, you know, the most power to get the best start, but it doesn't quite work like that. Let's break it down in slow-mo. We're going to go a few frames at a time as well to kind of break it down. So you can see here the lights are about to go out and away we go. We push overtake and the revs, you know, we're going about halfway. We're kind of feathering the throttle up and down a little bit. And at this point, it was going well. And then right here, you can see I tried to get the throttle down in third gear like I did before with the previous start. It didn't work. I lost the back end. I tried to control it by getting off the gas. As you can see, we let off the throttle. We're turning the wheel the other way. And then I managed to catch it, but it's not enough. So I've got to put a bit more gas on to kind of counteract the slide going to the right. By doing that, we then go the complete other way and go to the left. And that is not ideal. Example number 4, this is going to be the low rev approach once again, but this time using the overtake button. So in this case, we're going to be at about 9.9 to 10,000 revs as the lights go out, and we actually get a good start. You can see here we jumped the Haas almost of Grosjean there. We're pretty much side by side. We're still P9 though, so we didn't actually gain a place. Stroll in this case got a better start as well, it's worth noting. But generally, this method can work, to be fair. Now we're going to jump into what are some good/perfect examples of good starts. So here we go then. This is going to be what I consider to be one of my better starts. This time 11,800 RPM, so we're just on the limit of that perfect range I mentioned at the start of the video. Overtake now in fourth gear. You can see we've jumped the Haas side by side with the Racing Point, and we're even challenging Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. So let's break this down once again in slow motion, looking at the throttle tracing. So you can see the lights are coming on. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, very little revs. As the lights go out, we drop down to about 11.7, really, to be fair, 11.8, 11.7 revs. Away we go. The throttle is pinned in third gear. We enable overtake straight away in fourth, and you can see the overtakes we make as we make good progress off the start line and progress up into P8. But we're now going to move into the final example, what was the perfect start and the best one in this video, and this was the perfect RPM range in my opinion. Here we go then, 11,500 RPM. This is what I consider to be the perfect solution. Lights are on, away we go. First, second, then third and fourth gear straight away. We get both the Haas and Stroll, and look at this, we're pretty much side by side with Sebastian Vettel, and we're really being aggressive here with this start. So let's break this down again in slow motion and look at the throttle tracing and all the little details. As you can see, the lights are turning on here. I'm trying to get my revs about right. In this case, we're about 11.4 to 11.5 RPM as the lights go out. Away we go, and you can see the throttle here. First gear, straight to second, really important, and then we're almost flat out in second gear. We then get to third and fourth straight away, and the ERS is already on. So we got as quick as possible to that ERS activation stage, and it really paid dividends for us. And you can see we were challenging Sebastian Vettel, and we're right behind Charles Leclerc, and we comfortably beat Stroll and Grosjean off the line. So generally speaking, that is what I consider a perfect start. You can see the temperatures in the bottom right, all nicely balanced and all nicely spread out, so no overheating tyres off the start. And that is the best possible way to get a start, I find, in the F1 game. But let's jump into a few tips and tricks and general pointers for your guys' starts. So to conclude the video, let's go through a few points. Point number 1, go to lean mix. Now, I didn't do it in this video, but if you're racing competitively or you're really serious about getting the perfect start, then I'll recommend go to lean mix, and that's going to give you even less wheel spin. You can probably get the power down even earlier, but then once you've done that, make sure you remember to go back up to standard or even rich mix once you get the power down in third or fourth gear and the car is not going to wheel spin anymore. Step 2, make sure overtake is off, as we explained in the video. Step 3, RPM, like I mentioned at the start, the perfect range is anywhere between 11,000 to 11,800. Try and aim for 11.4, 11.5. That's going to give you the absolute perfect start in my opinion. Step 4, of course, now the first 3 steps are pre the lights going out, and the final 3 are after that. So step 4, of course, is then focus on the lights. You've done the first 3 steps, you're ready to go. At this point, of course, all this is for nothing if you get a bad start. So you've got to focus on the lights and try to make sure your reaction times are absolutely perfect. That takes us on to step 5. Once the lights have gone out and you're underway, get to second gear straight away. So get off the line straight to second. It's going to help get rid of that really first part of the wheel spin. And even in real life, I believe recently there was a video going around at a Hungarian Grand Prix where both Hamilton and Bottas in the Mercedes started the race in second gear off the line. I'd show the clip, but I'm scared FOM might get in trouble, or I might get in trouble with FOM for showing this, so I can't show it. But if you've got the internet, you might find it. But basically, Hamilton and Bottas started the Hungarian Grand Prix in second gear, actually. So again, taking that into the game, short shift and get to second gear straight away. Step 6, get to 4th gear ASAP. Now, what's the difference here? You want to try and get to second gear as soon as possible. Then try and feed some throttle in a little bit, and then 3rd and 4th, so another kind of double upshift, if that makes sense. And once you're in 4th gear, that's the safe zone. So once you get to 4th and you've had no wheel spin in the first 3 gears, you're going to be fine to just floor it and go absolutely flat out. And once you've hit that 4th gear, use the overtake button. You can try and do it in 3rd. It's very close. You'd have to get a really perfect start for that. Maybe with the Lee mix you could do it, but generally speaking, like I said at the start, hit the overtake button in 3rd or 4th gear. Probably 4th is going to be the safe bet. So these are the 7 tips to kind of get the perfect start, I find, in the F1 game, and hopefully you guys can apply this to your own career modes, you know, online league races or whatever it is you may do, and hopefully your starts do improve. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, found it informative, and you've tried it and it helped you out, then if you could drop me a like, I'd massively appreciate it, guys. It really helps support the channel. And also, guys, if you haven't done so already, hit that red subscribe button, guys, as I'm trying to hit 50k subs by, you know, I was going to say the end of the year, but we're actually doing so well at the minute, so I'd love to hit that sometime soon because I want to try and keep pushing forward with the channel. So any support, guys, would be massively appreciated. And give me more suggestions down below, guys, in the comment section for other tips and tricks videos you might like to see. And guys, that is it from me here today. Check out the 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them, and I will see you all next time for another tips and tricks video. If not, then check out my daily career mode, guys, on my channel. But until then, take care, and let's get back from me.